In the back of the book segment tonight, Pinheads of the Week. McGuirk, always with an astute eye, has chosen a CNN anchor to receive his award this week.
Son of God is also generating a lot of heat because Jesus is, so sexy. Take a look at the actor Diogo Morgado. He looks like Brad Pitt. He's already inspired loads of swooning women and also my op-ed. The question for me became, must Jesus be sexy too?
So you see no validity in Ms. Costello's remarks?
Not necessarily. No, I mean, yes, we're going to glamorize somebody who's in a movie, and in this case, it happens to be Jesus. In the Wolf of Wall Street, it was Leo DiCaprio. Look, Jesus he was young. He had long hair. He worked with his hands. He was a physical laborer. He was probably an attractive guy. He was charismatic. He wasn't a short, buck-toothed shrimp or anything, or people wouldn't have followed him around. I mean, this is the Son of God, though. This is not Magic Mike.
Right, so you're objecting not to the depiction of him being sexy. You're objecting to that the woman historically shouldn't be surprised.
She shouldn't. And
I think it might be the teeth, though. I don't know if they had the ultra bright back then.
Well, all I know is growing up and going to church all the time because my grandfather was a minister. I don't think he ever described Jesus from the pulpit as sexy.
No, and I can understand why people might object to that, but I didn't see her doing anything wrong.
No.
I mean, obviously the movie's the movie, and they're glamorizing him. In my movie of Killing Jesus, we haven't cast the part yet, but we are taking a really long time in doing that.
I bet you are.
Okay, because it's a totally different movie than this. But we're very careful in a lot of different ways. Okay. Now, Carlson's Pinhead is a 23-year-old college basketball player for New Mexico State who started a brawl. Roll the tape.
Wow. Whoa, did you see that? Wow. Ross Miller took the basketball and hurled it at...
Uh-oh, we got a fight going on.
We got a fight. New Mexico State's D.K. Eldridge.
Are you kidding me?
This is ugly. This is nasty.
Oh, my gosh.
What a terrible end to a great college basketball game.
Okay, so I mean, but I talk about not being surprised.
It looks like the South Korean Parliament.
Yeah, this is Casey Ross Miller, and the team had just lost. It was a very heated game against Utah State. And so he threw the ball at the opposing player. It happens to be the son of the coach of the other team.
Right.
But then, you know, all the fans get in the action too.
Of course they're going to get in there.
But actually, they're all Pinheads too, in my mind, because you know he started it, but they all fell into line because they took advantage of the situation.
All right. Now, as everybody knows, because I'm making a big deal out of it, and there's a reason that I am, this hip-hop culture, I believe, is hurting children at risk. And I told that to the president, I told that to Valerie Jarrett last night here in The Factor. We went over it top of the broadcast. But there is a professor at Princeton University who disagrees with me. Roll it.
I think we actually need something more robust on the public side to respond to the crisis. And I'm not so convinced that the private sector, and in partnership with the public sector, can address the crisis at all of its levels.
So he wants more government spending. This guy's name is Eddie Glaude Jr., Dr. Eddie. He's the head. He teaches theology, and he teaches African American studies, the head of the department. Now, forgive me. I never had a department head. I was at Marist, Boston U, and Harvard named Eddie. I had Eddie, but
Theodore, perhaps.
But he wants the government to control. And how has that worked over the last 100 years?
Not at all. Not at all. No, you hit the nail on the head last night. You couldn't have said it any better. That's the major influence on young kids today.
Right.
It's the music going into their ears. It's good music. It's fun to listen to. But there's a lot of insidious, very, very insidious lyrics going into their minds.
It just promotes a culture of cynicism. Like, we're not going to buy into the American mainstream. And you know what? If you're not, you're going to be poor, or you're going to have to commit crimes.
Yeah, it's interesting because Eddie's not alone. There are a lot of professors at a lot of universities right now that are teaching classes on just that, culture. Beyonce, there's a whole class on Beyonce's music right now.
And they glorify it. Look, for adults, come on. I mean, we can handle Beyonce and Jay-Z and no problem.
Exactly.
But for 12-year-olds, all right?
You would be shocked. You would be shocked at some of the stuff that's being said in the music on FM radio. You wouldn't believe it.
Right.
If you
I mean, it's just nonstop into their head. As you said, they got the earphones on and bing, bing, bing. And it's like, I don't going to have a respect for the system or anybody else. I'm going to use every word I want.
The thing is, I think it's all kids listening to it.
They respect
I don't think
those
it's
artists.
just a cultural thing.
No. That's a politically correct statement. We're not talking about all kids. We're talking about kids with no parents,
I understand.
unsupervised, on the street,
but
and they wonder why they blow up.
I understand that, but I'm saying it may not be such a great thing for every other kid.
It's not a great thing, but at least every other kid has two parents that can say, hey, you better knock it off.
I guess I won't see you at the 2 Chainz concert next week.
No, I sold my tickets on, I had them, but I just couldn't make it. I'm going to Herman's Hermits concert.
I'll send you a CD.
All right, McGuirk, Carlson, Factor Tip.